Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm actually going to be doing an unboxing video for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the Nintendo Switch. I've actually been playing this game for a couple of weeks, on and off, since I just first picked it up, and I'm really enjoying it. It's actually surprising how good this game is on the Switch specifically. So we've had like other games that were on more powerful systems and ported down to the Switch, and they weren't necessarily the greatest. Like Ark Survival Evolved is one of the ones that we have, and it's just pretty rough. But this one here, I've heard a lot of good things about, and from my personal experiences, it absolutely lives up to it. I did have a couple of interesting bugs happen though, and I'll touch on those sort of in a moment. But first we'll just go through the actual contents of the box itself. So for starters, it does come in a box, and that's one of my weaknesses when it comes to especially to video games these days. I miss video game boxes. Plastic cases are okay, but for me, nothing beats having like an actual box to put it in. It just, it's something that when I was growing up, it was just always the way that video games came. So it's nice to have that here. This is a complete edition, and on the back it does show that it comes with the DLC, so it comes with the Hearts of Stone expansion, Blood and Wine expansion, and then 16 DLCs. It doesn't specify what those are, but I'm assuming it has to be everything that's come out for it. The thing on the back just says, a whole world to explore at home and on the go. You are Geralt of Rivia, mercenary monster slayer. At your disposal is every tool of the trade, razor-sharp swords, lethal mixtures, stealthy crossbows, and powerful combat magic. Before you stands a war-torn, monster-infested continent you can explore at will. Your current contract, tracking down the Child of Prophecy, a living weapon that can alter the shape of the world. It is a single-player game, so there's no like multiplayer stuff. It does function on the TV, obviously, as well as in handheld mode, and you can also just use the when it's not on the dock, you can just use the Switch like a screen and put it on a table and have the controllers that you're using there as well. Works with the Switch Pro, and because because we're in Canada, it does include some French information there as well. So that's what we have here, rated M for mature, which obviously. So yeah, that's on the outside. So on the inside, now what I was honestly expecting, because I used to have The Witcher 2, I just never really got into that when I used to have it, and then I stopped playing it for a while, so I traded it in because I didn't know where I was, and I didn't really feel like starting over again. Honestly, it's kind of a big mistake. It's something that I do regret, and I wish I hadn't done that, but what's done is done. But the second one came with a sort of like a strategy guide kind of thing that came with it. It wasn't in a box. It had like a cardboard sleeve that held like the game case in with the strategy guide. So I was honestly expecting something like that in here. So we do have the game case, which just has all the same stuff that was on the back there. This was actually not sealed inside of the box. The box was sealed, but the case inside was just like this, which was kind of interesting because I've had other Switch games that came in boxes and the thing inside was sealed, but this was not from like a reseller. This was, I did get this from Amazon, but it was from them directly, and it was like new condition, so I'm just assuming that's the way that it came, which, you know what, if it's already sealed inside a box, you don't need to have the cellophane wrapping. I do kind of wish that the inside had something more interesting. A lot of Switch games will have like alternate art on the inside that you can switch. Like I have the Final Fantasy XII from on the Switch, and the inside art, it was reversible, so you could just take it out and flip it around, and the art that was originally on the inside is what I have on the outside now. What's cool about this is literally everything fits on this cartridge. So I did have to download an update, but that was an update. It wasn't like the rest of the game. One of the things that Switch games are kind of notorious for is having, the cartridge have some of the information, but then there's usually a multi-gig other section that you have to download yourself. Like, I wanted to get Final Fantasy X, which came with 10 and 10.2, but you had to download 10.2. You, like, if you bought the physical game, you still had to download one of the two games that were supposed to be included with the physical package. The Resident Evil collection, which had like 4, 5, and 6, I think did the exact same thing. I want to say it was like 4 was on the cartridge, and then 5 and 6 were like you had to download them. So the CD Projekt Red and the companies that they were working with actually managed to get everything onto a single regular capacity or regular size storage Switch cartridge. So that is really impressive, because it's just a lot of companies just kind of get lazy with that and don't bother even trying to do it, and they pulled it off really well. The game, obviously the graphics aren't going to be as good as they are on like a 4K TV and PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever they call them, but it still looks really, really good. I would say it's comparable with Breath of the Wild, except it's a more realistic look, whereas Breath of the Wild was more of a slightly cel shaded type of game. But it looks really good, actually. And I've never looked at the game while I was playing it and said, oh, this is so, low res or stuff like that. It's just never entered my mind. So they did an amazing job, and this game sets the bar for every other developer ever from this point forward, in my opinion. So that's the case with the cartridge. But then inside, like I said, I was expecting an instruction manual, or not instruction manual, but sort of like a little mini walkthrough or game guide. But what we have is just a little paper sleeve here. It says CD Projekt Red. And then on the inside, it just folds out. And it gives you just a little bit of information here on the Witcher 3. It's just a single card here. It says, welcome to the massive open world filled with stories that touch the soul, adventures that thrill, and secrets that'll keep you exploring. Complete Edition contains every piece of content ever released, with 16 free DLCs as well as 2 story expansions. It's well over 150 hours of adventure ahead of you. Everything made with love. We'd love to massively thank you for buying our game. As a studio, we think there's a lot of value. I don't think this is specific to the Switch version, but still kind of cool that they have that there. And then there's a couple of stickers. I'm not into stickers. Like, all the stuff is just going to stay in the packaging. And then we have this map, which is pretty cool, but I think it's... So we have this map of the Northern Realms, which is really cool. So I do like that. On the other side here, it's just looks like parchment. So what's actually kind of cool is that it looks like an actual old map. So they actually put some care into that, which is pretty cool. Then we have the Witcher Universe Compendium, and then we just have the French version of that, because again, it's something that it's Canadian language laws and everything. So inside here, we have the table of contents. It's not a very thick manual. It's only like 16 pages. But it does give you the basics and some really cool information to go off of. The ancient times with the conjunction of the spheres, I think it was called. Yeah, conjunction of the spheres. The races and peoples. The Witchers and their training and role in society. So you have the different Witcher schools, which honestly I don't know anything about, other than the fact that Geralt is from the School of the Wolf, obviously because of his medallion. So it's kind of cool to read about that a little bit. I do have one of the Witcher books, but it hasn't really gone into detail about the different schools or anything like that. And then it gives us some of the important characters involved. Exposition on the previous games. So it gives you that information there as well, just so you have some knowledge that you can take in to help you understand what's going on at the beginning of the game. The Witcher senses, medallion, steel and silver swords, the signs, alchemy, and then the credits. So that's basically what comes with this. So overall, this is a really, really, really cool packaging. I love all the stuff that's in here. So I was surprised that there wasn't sort of a mini strategy guide like they had in the second one, but I'm not disappointed in it. And one of the things I have to say that I find actually kind of refreshing about the Witcher 3 is, like, I'm used to things like, I played Skyrim and other console RPGs like that. And one of the things that I've always found kind of annoying is the fact that whenever you start a quest, like even quests that they're described to you in a way that makes it sound like it's very time sensitive, until you actually arrive at the destination that you have to for the quest, nothing happens. Like, you could spend, like in Skyrim, for example, there was this dragon that was attacking a nearby city that I had to go to, and that was the quest, was to go there and deal with the dragon. And I didn't do that. I actually spent like an in-game month just traveling around and doing side quests and screwing around and stuff like that. And then when I finally came to this place 30 days in-game later, it was still like oh, you made it. And like the dragon just waited a month to attack. In this game you can actually fail quests, and I wasn't expecting that because I'm just not used to it in modern console RPGs, at least the ones that I've played. So when I was looking through my quest log and I went through, because there was one little side quest where there was this woman that was attacked by a griffin and she was suffering, and I was able to, the quest was to make a potion that could either cure her or finish her off. And I didn't have one of the components. There was 3 things that I needed, and there was one that I didn't have. But as soon as I was able to acquire it, after doing some other quests and other things, I made the potions, and I went to go check, like, in the quest log to select it so I knew where to go. It was under failed, and I was like, oh, well, that's good to know. But it was refreshing. Like, honestly, I like the fact that, you can just simply, if you do the wrong thing, or you take too long, or you reach certain points in the story, there's just no going back. And I kind of appreciate that, I have to say. So it was kind of nice to see that, you could fail some quests. Looking up some things online, I feel like I've made some bad choices and cut some quest chains short. So I'm actually contemplating starting over again and doing a few things differently. We'll see sort of how that plays out, or if I decide to do that. As long as I can have multiple files. If not, I can just create another profile on the Switch to do it with. But anyway, really enjoying this game. Really, really great. And if you have a Switch and you're an RPG fan and you haven't picked this up yet, I think it's something that it's to me, it's one of the best RPGs available on the Switch. And all the good things that I heard about it, it really earns that. It absolutely lives up to that reputation. So fantastic stuff all around, and I highly recommend it. And I've been really enjoying the game thus far as well. So fantastic stuff. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you have The Witcher 3. Doesn't matter what system you have it for. What were some of your favorite memories or moments in that game? Try not to spoil anything too major, but there's just certain things that really kind of took me by surprise when I was playing through it. So again, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Look forward to your comments, and I'll see you next time. Take care.